everyone. So I wanted to go a little bit into what product management is. So it's going to be the 101 level coverage of the topic. By the way, if this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Kristina and I'm a product manager who's been working in the industry for a number of years. I hope that you will subscribe and stick around. Now let's go ahead and dig into the video. By no means is it a new thing, but product management has gotten a lot of visibility lately. It's a high-paying position that is challenging and engaging. It doesn't require an engineering degree, and it pays very well in the tech industry. In essence, product managers are the people who decide what features should go into a product. To dig into that last bit a little bit more, a feature is anything that goes into a product. And to define that last bit, a product, especially in the tech industry, can be defined as anything from something physical, like a car, to a piece of software or a website. Also, in the realm of product management and product development specifically, a product could be something also like the search bar of a website. Like when you go into YouTube and start looking through the search bar, that is considered a product, and there's a team managing that. Product managers need to keep the end user in mind. First and foremost, they are an advocate for the end user. They need to figure out what problems need to be solved in order to make a feature happen, and whether that feature is even a good idea to begin with. The product manager is going to take themselves and the product team through the product development's lifecycle. So that's going to start off with coming up with different ideas for features, or how to develop the feature in a certain direction, designing what that looks like, building it, figuring out how to measure and test what the impact of that development is. So for example, if you add a drop down to a search bar that suggests different things that a user might want to search for, that might be something that's added to the search bar, and you're going to want to figure out how to measure the impact of that. And then once you measure the impact, you're going to actually track it once the feature gets pushed to production, as they say. And then you can learn about what works and what doesn't, and communicate those learnings out to the team and the larger company. That last part is really important because the product manager cannot figure everything out by themselves. They are the ones rallying the team and making certain decisions, but if the whole team is aware of what is important in the product and what has historically worked and what hasn't worked, then they can fold those learnings into their day-to-day process. Whether that is a designer working on new designs, they know that in the past certain designs have succeeded as opposed to others with that specific user base. Whether that's an engineer who knows that the trajectory of the feature or product is going to go in a specific direction, so they're going to maybe pick one set of technologies over another that's going to set them up to scale better for that long-term goals that they've been made aware of. Or marketers, if the marketers know about the strength of a product, they can position that in their pitch to users, to clients, about, hey, here's what this product does really well, here's what it's going to do differently than everyone else, and it's not trying to be everyone else, it's trying to be this thing that is doing very well. So the whole team hopefully comes together from those learnings and is able to be much more effective. This could sound like a lot of different responsibilities. So really what everything comes down to is that the product manager needs to set the vision for the product. And vision means that the product manager has a very clear understanding of what value a feature is going to be delivering, what its strengths and weaknesses are, so it can develop the strengths and guard against the weaknesses, and how this feature differentiates itself from what is out there in the market and from other competitors as well. When other people in the organization get lost in the weeds, they're trying to figure out what the next steps around a product should be, or whether it should be doing X or Y or Z, the product manager, because they have such a clear understanding of the goal and vision of the product, since they were the ones who defined it and are defending it, they are the ones that are going to keep pointing everyone on the team to true north by reiterating what the ideal outcome is and setting the mission statement for everyone. And another thing that's actually really interesting is that product managers, although they are managers, they don't manage people. They sometimes do. They can be, have a junior product manager under them, but generally they're working with a product team, and they're not the direct supervisor or manager of anyone on that team. So they'll manage the product, which in our example is a search bar for YouTube, for example, but they will be working with people from all kinds of different areas, right? There's going to be designers, product developers or coders, engineers, marketers, everyone who needs to do different kinds of creative, technical, and business work in order to make the product come together. Product managers and their teams are often structured either around a specific interface of a product. So the search bar example would be an example of that. Or for example, a report button that allows users to report inappropriate content on a website. Or they can be structured around an experience that is going through different parts of the product. So for example, an e-commerce experience where you might be touching the user as they're going through the e-commerce experience from the home page, through different search bars, through a checkout screen, through a mobile app, but the e-commerce team is responsible for all of that. A lot of that is going to be the outcome of the company and how the company came about and its history, or maybe an outcome of its organizational structure. This is for larger companies. For a startup, that might not be true at all. A product manager might be wearing a lot of different hats, and they might be the designer as well if they have design experience. They might be managing clients if a client is bankrolling a feature or a product, and wearing all kinds of different hats. So it's all bets are off when it comes to startups. Lastly, people in design, marketing, engineering, and development, all of those are resources, and their time is a resource. The amount of possible work that can be done for a product is infinite, but these resources are finite. So the most important thing a product manager can do is figure out how to use these limited resources in the most effective way possible. So they're taking everyone's ideas, whether that's something a product manager is generating, their team are lifting up, a client is asking, they're figuring out what is going to create the most amount of impact for the least amount of resources. Build that first, see how well that theory pans out, and then adjust accordingly. And everything else that is maybe like something cool that you want to work on, but isn't necessarily actually moving everything towards the specific goals you've outlined, whether that's increasing revenue, increasing users, improving the quality of a product, everything that's not working towards those defined goals gets moved aside, because you basically have to ruthlessly prioritize what it is that you're doing as a team. But yeah, it's very rewarding, very fun. You are a generalist working with specialists, and so you are learning from your team all the time and valuing them and what they have to contribute in order to come up with better ideas, set better goals, and build better products. So yeah, hope that was informative and that is helpful for figuring out whether you want to be a product manager or not, or learning a little bit about product managers if you're working with one. If you are down to share, tell me a little bit about why you clicked on this video. Are you hoping to get into product management? Are you a new product manager and you're trying to figure out, hey, like what is everyone else in this industry doing that maybe I could be doing or maybe don't want to do? Or maybe you're working with a product manager. So let me know in the comments where you're coming from and say hi. Aside from that, thank you so much for being here and for checking out my channel. And I hope to see you around. Bye.